Today we're taking a look at Walmart again, and this time we're doing brownies. So we're doing the bottom shelf as a great value fudge brownie, as you see here, and the top shelf is the Ghirardelli Ultimate Chocolate Brownie. Open this up, we've got our brownie mix in here, and the recipe on the back kind of outlines what you need to make this fudge brownie. And it calls for 2 eggs, 2/3 of a cup of oil, plus a 1/4 cup of water. And this is what the brownie batter looked like before adding anything to it, just a nice pale brown color. Open up the Ghirardelli, don't mind me just dropping the box over and over again and finally realizing that, oh, there's probably something in it. And it turns out there's a fudge packet with it. So the Ghirardelli one actually has chocolate chips and a fudge packet, whereas the fudge brownie from Great Value only has the brownie mix. So a little added bonus there for your extra money. Adding that one into the bowl, you can immediately see there's a bit of a different color here. The texture was fairly similar. It feels like the kinetic sand where if you squeeze it, it's gonna hold its shape. It's not as sticky, but that kind of texture is what it reminded me of. The taste on these were pretty similar as well, but the Ghirardelli definitely has darker chocolate in it, and the chocolate chips, in my opinion, make it way better. Though my wife did say she liked the taste of the fudge brownie mix better. Moving on to the Ghirardelli close-ups. Here's all the ingredients here, and this one calls for a 1/4 cup of water, a 1/4 cup of oil, and 1 egg, which is a lot less than the fudge brownie called for. And we did exactly as the box addressed. We didn't try to make them the same this time. And it comes kind of into play later, we think, on how it tasted overall. I don't really know if adding the fancier eggs here or the fancier oil changed much. We did have the good old handsome eggs that are $5.50 a dozen on the top shelf ingredients, and then just the regular Walmart ones that are $2 a dozen. And then the oils were about a 50-cent difference. You can kind of decide if you think there would be any difference between these two. We didn't really see that there was, nor have we really found that these changed much. The water was just some filtered tap water that we added in for both of them. Mixing them together, I picked the wrong whisk for this. The first one mixed together just fine, despite my inability to get all the dry brownie mix mixed into it. And don't mind me just knocking that box over again as I go to mix the Ghirardelli. And you see it a little bit there, but that whisk is so loose. I basically almost destroyed this thing by picking the wrong tool. And at this point it said to add in the fudge packet, and it's just a little thicker Hershey's syrup type of feel and taste, not any particularly fancy chocolate. And adding them into the pan, we did a glass bottom pan, 8x8s on both of these, glass on the Ghirardelli, and then a silicone bowl for the Walmart one. And this is just because that's what we have. We don't have two of the same 8x8 dishes. This kind of changed the cooking time, we think. We ended up not cooking the Ghirardelli one long enough, and so I wonder if we would have cooked them the same thing, if that would have turned out better, but that'll be something I'll have to check at a later time. So this is after they had an hour to cool, and when we pulled them out, they all had the toothpick came back completely clean on them from all parts of it, but the glass bottom, the Ghirardelli, did take longer to cook. We left it in about 7 minutes longer before it hit that point. Here's a nice close-up of the Great Value one. You can kind of see it's just a good looking brownie. Nothing fancy to it. Crust on top looks nice flaky piece you'd like to see on it, and it cooked pretty well. The taste to it was good. It was a nice mild milk chocolate flavor is what I'd call it. I definitely wouldn't call it dark chocolate. And it tasted like a store-bought brownie, honestly. Just like the ones that you buy, or even ones you buy from like a Pizza Hut or something. Just tasted exactly like a brownie you'd expect. And honestly, if I didn't try the Ghirardelli one next, I would have thought it was a pretty good brownie. And then I tried the Ghirardelli, and it was phenomenal. Much darker chocolate. The little chocolate chips and the fudge in there I think really add a lot to the flavor, and it felt a lot denser. It doesn't really show up here in this close-up when I'm comparing the two. They look basically the same, but it was a lot chewier of a brownie, and it definitely had it was a lot richer as well. Then that was just the edge pieces compared side to side. So it cut into the dead center of both of these, as the monster I am, ruining the perfectly good pan of brownies. We found out at this point that the Walmart one cooked pretty well. It was nice and flaky on top still, but the Ghirardelli one was basically just past raw. If you want medium rare brownies, this is probably what you're looking for. It wasn't really what we wanted, and after leaving it out for so long, I didn't entirely trust to eat it either, because it really, you can kind of see here, it just starts melting because it's so uncooked. That was probably more of a technique issue on our end than it was due to the brownies, so I bet if you cook these right, you'd be just fine. Overall, with these taste tests, the edges and the middles, they were both really good. You could definitely tell a difference. It wasn't even close. The Ghirardelli ones had such a richer, deeper, darker chocolate flavor, real chocolate flavor, honestly, when compared to the Walmart ones. It just wasn't really even close. Not really even being much of a surprise here. So to answer that question of is it better, I would say yes. Spend the $1.50, get the better ones. It's totally worth it. If you're cooking for like 100 people though, and you need brownies for everyone, the great value ones may not be that bad of an option. I don't think anyone would really notice, especially if you just mastered your cooking technique. They tasted like great store-bought brownies. I think what really hindered them was the eggs and the extra oil. It kind of made it for a different texture, one that I don't prefer. Maybe some people like it more, but the Ghirardelli was a lot denser and just tasted a lot more like one of those heart-stopping brownies that you look for. And here you can see this lovely drop test that the middles were not cooked well enough. Great value ones were cooked a bit better. But anyway, that's all we've got for you. Thanks for watching. Like this video, let us know what you want to see next, and thanks for dropping by.